What's up, guys? Now, the next thing I wanted to start speaking on was my intuitive thoughts and ideas on one of my own personal experiences. Now, a lot of times in life, it takes some sort of major life change, whether it be a chosen one or a unchosen one. But normally it takes a major life change for people to actually change and think about who they are and how they function in their day to day life. And until you get to the point where you have to think about, well, what the heck, what happened? Why did everything just come crashing down now? Um, it's those experiences, if you look at them in the right way, that teach you the most in your life, because it's not a failure, it's not just a mistake, it's a point that you can learn from to hopefully not do it again, to learn your lesson the first time instead of the fifth time. And I made a lot of unilateral decisions and a lot of actions and conscious choices in recent times that have changed a lot of my perspectives and beliefs in the way that everything really works. And a lot of it I've been able to find scientific evidence to back it up, and it makes a lot of sense. Now, it was in September, I had a major change happen in my life. And I sat down and I really, really thought about what my problems were, what my issues were, why I was going into the same pitfalls, so to say, that I always was. Now, once I realized that ultimately I had always put myself second instead of prioritizing myself at all. I always made sure everyone else had what they needed and then I had what I needed second, because that's how you're programmed. There's a lot of limiting beliefs like that affect the way you live your life because you're trying to people please and live up to societal standards that you're pre-programmed with based off of your environment and your surroundings you grew up with. And you don't even realize what's holding you back until you decide to start changing everything. And when you decide to change everything, you unlock a lot of stuff. I believe that helps you eliminate a lot of fears. And I'd rather give something a try and be like, man, I kind of looked a little dumb doing that. And then rather than not try and regret it. And since I've made all these changes in my life, I quit smoking. Um, I quit eating a lot of dairy, a lot of junk food. Made me realize that if you eat your food as medicine, you don't have to eat medicine as food. Um, Even in just a short time, I've already feel so much better actually living consciously and making active choices instead of just being a passive person in my own life and living off of other people's whims. Now, the main reason I bring this up is because I believe that once a person realizes that you don't have to earn your value, you don't have to earn anything, because the only opinion that really matters is your own opinion of yourself. And once you realize that, and then you stop putting yourself second, you stop trying to people please, you get to the real cores of your problems, and you break those limiting beliefs. You allow yourself to be who you're meant to be. And I don't mean that in like, oh, I'm some super powerful person. I mean it as in doing what you enjoy, doing what you find interest in, doing what you're passionate about, not just a hobby, but something you're like, man, I could do this every day for like forever. And a lot of times it takes changing everything to find what those are again. And changing everything about the way I live my life to help me remember what my passions really were. And really set forth a lot of big thoughts. A lot of thoughts about what was really possible, what we were really taught, what the real possibilities are, theoretically. I'm just a simple man working on the idea, not the actual, the how part yet. But I believe once you can start to love yourself completely and wholly, without conditions, because that's the key point. You gotta really believe in yourself too. Because whether or not you believe or you don't actually changes the way your brain works. 100% changes it. It turns the prefrontal cortex on in your brain, completely on. If you believe you can or you believe you can't, that expression means a lot more if you know the science behind it, because your brain literally turns on the moment you believe you can do something. And that's all it takes, is the belief. Not the execution, the belief. Because the brain doesn't know whether you're lying to it or not. You just need to believe in it. And whether or not you believe in it, and you can keep yourself in the right state of mind. And I mean that as in not breeding negative thoughts, because if you look at psychology, the more negative thoughts one produces, the more it breeds more. It's the law of attraction. The more negative thoughts, the more you're going to bring in negative thoughts, and it's going to change your whole perspective of the world. Because subconsciously, your brain reinforces your conscious thought, your conscious feedback of the world, because for the most part your brain, it's its best guess of what's going on between all your senses. It's what you think is going on at a slight delay, because it's not instantaneous. It takes milliseconds, depending on the person, milliseconds or if not longer, to process the senses into the brain and perceive what is going on in this reality. So it's really just everyone's best guess. And they've proven whether or not that your emotions affect you. Now, in recent studies, they've found that all emotions are energy. And what you are feeling and what emotions you're having, whether it be negative thoughts breeding negative emotions or positive thoughts breeding positive emotions, it changes you cellularly. The way your body is constructed, it changes the frequency of the individual cells. The way they look, the way they express themselves, the way they work. And it's a big difference between negative and positive. Now, there's been a couple studies done with this, with verbal words, with speaking into water. You can speak love into water, you can speak negativity into water, and then freeze it, and then look at the ice crystals when they freeze. And there will be completely different patterns forming, and the love one compared to the hate one. The hate one will be like destructuralized, and the love one will be structured very well and very nice, and it'll be very pretty, snowflakes. You can do the same thing with just speaking into jars of cotton balls. Speak into each one with love, one with hate for a couple weeks, and you will see the visible difference in the way they decay and the way they age. And that goes to show that what you believe and what you speak into this world has a actual effect on what happens, on what you perceive.